तो आज का नया टॉपिक क्रॉपिंग सिस्टम और फार्मिंग सिस्टम। तो बढ़ते हैं आगे इसी टॉपिक पर। तो क्रॉपिंग सिस्टम क्या है? इट इज़ द मैनेजमेंट प्रैक्टिस जिसमें क्या आता है? सॉइल कंजर्वेशन, पेस्ट मैनेजमेंट, डिसीज मैनेजमेंट एंड टेक्नोलॉजिकल इनपुट्स। इस सब इंग्रेडिएंट्स का इस्तेमाल करके हमें क्रॉप चूज करने हैं। यही है क्रॉपिंग सिस्टम। सिंपल है। तो हमें पता है क्रॉपिंग सिस्टम रेफर्स टू द मैनेजमेंट प्रैक्टिस दैट इंक्लूड्स सॉइल कंजर्वेशन, पेस्ट मैनेजमेंट एंड डिसीज मैनेजमेंट एंड टेक्नोलॉजिकल इनपुट्स। ठीक है। तो क्रॉपिंग पैटर्न क्या है? क्रॉपिंग पैटर्न इज द इंफीरियर सिस्टम ऑफ क्रॉपिंग सिस्टम। क्रॉपिंग पैटर्न क्या है? इट emphasizes means it stretch upon the distribution and sequencing of the crop over a particular period। मतलब ये क्या डिटरमाइन करता है? क्रॉप का डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन और क्रॉप का सीक्वेंस क्या है। फॉर एग्जांपल डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन का एग्जांपल दे सकते हैं। नॉर्थ इंडिया में राइस और वीट, और साउथ इंडिया में राइस और मिलेट्स और शुगर केन। It seems there is a difference between the two regions of India. So cropping pattern determines the distribution and sequencing of the crop over a particular period. ठीक है। तो we know that cropping system is the outer circle and cropping pattern is the inner circle. So cropping system के principles क्या है देखते हैं। So it firstly focus upon proper रिसोर्स इफिशियंसी। पूरे रिसोर्स का इस्तेमाल करना है। रिसोर्स कौन से? हमारे पास लैंड है, सीड्स, फर्टिलाइज़र, टेक्नोलॉजी, इन सब का मैक्सिमाइज एंड प्रॉपर यूटिलाइजेशन करना है। उसके बाद ये प्रिंसिपल 1 ए सेकेंड। उसके बाद कॉम्प्लीमेंट्री बिटवीन द क्रॉप्स। कॉम्प्लीमेंट्री बिटवीन द क्रॉप्स मीन्स फॉर एग्जाम्पल लेग्यूम फिक्स नाइट्रोजन फॉर सीरियल्स, राइट। लेग्यूम क्या करता है? एटमॉस्फेरिक नाइट्रोजन सॉइल में फिक्स करता है, जो नेक्स्ट सीरियल क्रॉप्स वो नाइट्रोजन यूज़ करते हैं। इससे हमारा क्या होता है? फर्टिलाइज़र इनपुट जो है वो कम होता है। ठीक है। सो कॉम्प्लीमेंट्री बिटवीन द क्रॉप्स, it determines the complementary between the crops. Legume fixes nitrogen and then this nitrogen used by next cereal crop or any other crop. Cereals are the most exhaustive crops. Okay, then go forward with the third. It helps in minimization of risk. Why and how? Through diversification. If farmer on a 1 acre of land grows rice in the half and in half maize or sugarcane, if pest attack or disease attack fails the rice, then the farmer survives on the maize, which reduces the risk and increase profitability. The next, fourth, its principle is to maintain soil fertility by avoiding exhaustive crop. मैंने बताया exhaustive crop कौन से? सीरियल्स। सभी सीरियल्स एग्जॉस्टिव है। एग्जॉस्टिव का मतलब जो सॉइल से पूरे जो न्यूट्रिएंट्स है यूज़ कर लेते, ओवर यूज़ कर लेते, इसकी वजह से सॉइल की जो फर्टिलिटी है वो रिड्यूस हो जाती है। सो वी हैव टू सेट अ क्रॉपिंग पैटर्न ऑन द बेसिस ऑफ दैट इफ वी यूज एग्जॉस्टिव क्रॉप, एग्जाम्पल राइस और wheat, then in the next season we should grow pulses or legumes which fixes nitrogen, which again is back to the soil. Okay, the next, pest and disease management cycle. So how pest and disease management cycle is the principle of cropping system. If we, for example, if we sow rice in the Rabi season, Rabi season is monsoon season. Then again, if we sow rice in the Kharif season, if we have all irrigated facilities, then only. So what happened in this? The pest or the disease survives in the soil, and if not, if we not plant rice in the next season, they go in dormant phase and wait for to again when the time comes when we sow rice. Okay, if we choose another crop, if we choose another crop, since rice and then sugar cane, then maize, then wheat, we can bypass the pest disease cycle. Okay, so in this way it aims at reducing pest and disease cycle. Then temporal and spatial intensification through maximum crop per year, through double or multiple cropping. Same, it increases the profitability of the farmer. So we know the principles like maximize resource efficiency, complementary between the crops through legume, fix nitrogen for cereals, minimization of risk, soil fertility, pest and disease cycle, temporal and spatial intensification. Spatial intensification through double and multiple cropping. Okay. Then we go forward with the cropping system or the cropping patterns and its types. So we know there are two types, monocropping and multiple cropping. So monocropping means only growing one crop on the same piece of land year after year. For example, if we sowed rice this year, next year again rice, then next year again rice. So we know by monocropping, high risk of pest and disease and nutrient depletion. So these are the disadvantages of the monocropping. High pest and disease, nutrient depletion, because rice is the exhaustive crop. But what's its advantage? Its advantage is it's easy to manage the same crop year after year. क्यों क्यों इजी टू मैनेज है? क्योंकि हमें पता है राइस कैसे मैनेज करना है, पेस्ट एंड डिसीज, और फर्टिलाइज़र डोज कैसा है, व्हेन टू इरिगेट, हार्वेस्टिंग प्रैक्टिसेस, लेबर अवेलेबिलिटी. इसकी वजह से इट्स इजी टू मैनेज. So in multicropping, so what do you mean by multicropping? It's just opposite of the monocropping, growing two or more crops in on the same piece of land. So multicropping में दो टाइप्स है, sequential और intercropping. First we go with the sequential cropping. Here the sequential cropping has three types. Sequential multiple cropping means growing two or more crops in a sequence on the same field. Example, let's see, there's three types of sequential cropping such as double, triple and quadruple. For example, if we sow rice and then wheat in Rabi in rice in Rabi and wheat in Kharif. So this is the sequence. Rice we sowed in Rabi season and wheat in Kharif season. So yearly we take only 2 crops. So it's double sequential multi-cropping. Then it's the same with triple. Grow 3 crops per year on the same field. For example, we can give rice in Kharif, wheat in Rabi, and moong in summer. Okay. Then same with the quadruple, 4 crops a year, rice, wheat, moong, or short duration crop such as cucumber in the same season, or rice, any short pulses, then again pulses, and cucumber. Anyway, it's just cropping 4 crops per year on the same field. So next is retaining. So what is retaining? Retaining, best example of retaining is sugarcane. We know about the sugarcane. So what is retaining? Allowing the stubbles of a harvested crop to sprout again as a fresh crop. Matlab sugarcane, if we cut sugarcane like this, the remaining part is called stubble. If we apply the dose of NPK, whichever is required, the crop grows again. This process is called retaining. Why this process is used? Because instead of resowing from the sets, so we know the sugarcane is grown from sets, not seeds. So instead of resowing the sets and it take times to emerge on the ground, the farmer uses this technique by harvesting only the upper part and leaves the base to regrow like this. Okay, the best example is sugarcane because it saves the time, land preparation, labor. In short, it reduces the cost and minimize the effort. So really, we know the game athletics, and they have 1600-meter relay race in which 4 players on the ground after every 400 meter exchange the baton to the next player. Okay, in this same type the relay cropping is done. Growing a second crop ग्रो करना है पहले क्रॉप के हार्वेस्टिंग से पहले. Growing a second crop before the first crop is harvested. Okay, so that the two crop overlap for some time. वो क्रॉप ओवरलैप करेंगे सम टाइम के लिए. इससे क्या होता है, जो टाइम है, मीन्स इफ वी हार्वेस्टेड द क्रॉप, वेट फॉर द ऑपरेशंस, टिलेज और समथिंग, द टाइम इज वेस्टेड बिटवीन द टू गैप्स. इसके एडवांटेजेस क्या है? इफ़िशिएंट यूज़ ऑफ टाइम का इफ़िशिएंट यूज़ होता है, सॉइल मॉइस्चर भी बनी रहती है, एंड रिड्यूस द आइडियल पीरियड. इससे हम मल्टीपल क्रॉपिंग ईयर में ले सकते हैं विद इन ईयर. सो वी नो मोनोक्रॉपिंग, ग्रोइंग वन क्रॉप on the same field year after year, multiple 2 or more crop on the same field year after year. उसमें सिक्वेंशियल मीन्स वन आफ्टर द अदर, डबल क्रॉपिंग, ट्रिपल क्रॉपिंग, क्वाड्रपल, राइस, wheat, any of the pulses, rice, pulses, short duration vegetable crop, and then again vegetable crop. Returning means growing the crop from the stubble by using inputs. Relay, sowing second crop before harvesting of first. Okay, so then we go forward with the intercropping. So intercropping क्या है? इंटरक्रॉपिंग इज द प्रैक्टिस, इंटरक्रॉपिंग प्रैक्टिस है, ग्रोइंग टू और मोर क्रॉप साइमल्टेनियसली, ये कीवर्ड है. हमने देखा मल्टीपल क्रॉपिंग क्या है, ग्रोइंग टू और मोर क्रॉप्स ऑन अ सेम पीस ऑफ लैंड ईयर आफ्टर ईयर. पर इंटरक्रॉपिंग में थोड़ा सा कैच है, जो है ग्रो इट इज प्रैक्टिस ऑफ ग्रोइंग टू और मोर क्रॉप्स साइमल्टेनियसली in a definite row or arrangement or spatial pattern. ओके, इससे क्या होता है, लैंड का प्रॉपर यूटिलाइजेशन होता है, रिसोर्स वेस्टेज कम होता है, पेस्ट एंड डिसीज कंट्रोल होती है. हाउ पेस्ट एंड डिसीज कंट्रोल? बाय example, if we sow rice here, 2 rows of rice, then again 2 rows of leguminous crop. If we take leguminous crop, or just we take example of maize, just a minute. If we take example of maize, 2 rows of maize and 3 rows of cowpeas, for example, then again 2 rows of maize. So here was अपनी डेफिनेशन क्या है, 2 or more crops. ओके, साइमल्टेनियसली. सो 2 और ये क्या है, 2 or more crops साइमल्टेनियसली. ओके, मेज, काउपी, मेज with a spatial row and arrangement. Yes, we have achieved the criteria of intercropping. So the main advantage is that if this section is attacked by pest or disease, any of the disease, so the middle cowpea act as the barrier for the next maize, so it reduces pest and disease incidence. Okay, so types of intercropping are the mixed cropping, row cropping, alley cropping, strip cropping, multi-story cropping. So let's see what is mixed cropping. Mixed cropping is growing 2 or more crops. Don't get confused with the words, just calmly listen to the keywords. 2 or more crops is the same as intercropping, together on the same land, same. But here is the catch, without any distinct row or arrangement. It's just done through broadcast method, and the seeds are scattered on the field and let them grow. Example, we can take example like, so it's done by broadcasting. Example, bajra and jawar, or bajra in kharif and wheat in, sorry, it's done in both same season, bajra and wheat in Rabi, or groundnut and wheat again. So it's cropping without any existing row or arrangement. Okay. Next is row. Growing crop in a straight row with properly spacing is just opposite of the mixed cropping. इसमें प्रॉपर मैनेजमेंट होता है. ओके, एग्जांपल मेज प्लस ग्रीन ग्राम 1:1 रेशो. एक लाइन मेज की, एक लाइन ग्रीन ग्राम, फिर से एक लाइन मेज और एक लाइन ग्रीन ग्राम. ओके. नेक्स्ट इज एले क्रॉपिंग. एले क्रॉपिंग मीन्स growing trees, shrubs, crops at a wide space, and food crops are grown in alley. जो गैप है, ए ट्री, ये मेन क्रॉप फूड क्रॉप, फिर से ट्री, ये मेन क्रॉप फूड क्रॉप. So it's just a simple wide space, food crops are grown between the alleys. Okay. Next is strip cropping. So what is strip cropping? Growing different crops in alternate strips. So here is maize, here is wheat. Or we can take a better example. Here is the groundnut and red gram. 6:4 रेशो. ग्राउंडनट की 6 रोज, 1 3 4 5 6. ओके. एंड देन अगेन 1 2 3 4, देन अगेन 1 2 3 4 5 6 अगेन. समझ आया? ये इट्स लुक लाइक अ स्ट्रिप. या राइट. सो स्ट्रिप क्रॉपिंग का एग्जाम्पल ग्राउंडनट और रेड ग्राम 6:4 रेशो. So we go to the multi-storied cropping. Multi-storied cropping क्या है? हमें पिछले वीडियो में देखा था. Multi-storied cropping है different crops grown together at different height and canopy level. एग्जाम्पल देखा था हमने कोकोनट ट्री, banana, then we can grow pepper tree which is the spice, and then pineapple. We use the proper space. So I can show you in the next images. So here is row cropping. दिख रहा है? It seems they are grown in a row. Is just a monocrop. नेक्स्ट एले क्रॉपिंग. हमने एले क्रॉपिंग का क्या देखा था? ट्रीज और श्रब्स और क्रॉप्स आर ग्रोन इन द एले. द सेम trees, the main food crops are grown in between the alley, which is called alley cropping, and the food crop is called alley crop. Okay. Strip cropping. Here we see the strip cropping. It's I think wheat, vegetable, again vegetable, then again wheat. So here is the multi-story cropping. Is the practice of growing 3 to 4 crops at different height. Here papaya, here banana, here banana, here sesbanian tree, here maize, here sorghum, and here sweet potato. The proper utilization of the space. Advantages क्या है मल्टी स्टोरी क्रॉपिंग के? It uses vertical and horizontal space efficiently. Total productivity बढ़ती है इस एरिया की. soil erosion through different agents like wind, water, or any other, etc. It reduces the soil erosion. And we know the diversified farming, it reduces the risk of the farmer. But its disadvantage is that it's not easy to manage. It needs proper management or skill or knowledge. And this crop compete for nutrients and water if not properly managed. Okay. Then again we go to the farming system. Farming system क्या है? Farming system is the broad spectrum of agriculture activities which integrate all activities, on farm activities. We know the on farm activities like mean which is the cropping, the livestock production means poultry, cattle farming, sericulture, honeybee keeping, and many more, and then agroforestry. So it's a broad spectrum which integrates all these farming activities to achieve overall sustainability and economic viability and reduce the risk of the farmer. The best example for this you can search on the YouTube. सत्यमेव जयते जो प्रोग्राम था आमिर खान का, उसमें एक सर थे जिन्होंने एक प्रॉपर एग्जाम्पल सेट किया था फार्मिंग सिस्टम का. लेट मी एक्सप्लेन हाउ. दे हैड अ क्रॉप, one major crop, and on the leftover land they have cattle crop, which we can say fodder crop. The fodder crop feeds cattle, the cattle dung on which poultry feeds. The poultry waste is given to fishes. The fishes are sold in market. The poultry eggs are sold in market. The cattle milk is sold in market. And the fishes leftover are fed to duck. Then again duck gives you more income. So they use the technique of reuse, recycle, where no waste generates, and if the waste generates, it uses for making more money. So you can search that. I don't know what the video about. I don't know the video name. So you can just search Satyamev Jayate farming system. Okay. So we go with the next topic, factors affecting farming system. कौन से फैक्टर से वो फार्मिंग सिस्टम को अफेक्ट करते हैं? जो फर्स्ट फैक्टर वी कैन डिफरेंशिएट इनटू फिजिकल, इकोनॉमिक, एंड अगेन इन इंफ्रा. Okay, these are the three main factors which affect the farming system, and we can keep here the others. I will tell you further. The main factor, which is physical factor, in which it integrates climate. How climate? By temperature variation, rainfall, humidity, frost, winds. हमने पिछली वीडियो में देखा था टेम्परेचर कैसा अफेक्ट करता है. द टेम्परेचर ऑफ नॉर्थ इंडिया, द टेम्परेचर ऑफ साउथ इंडिया varies and differs in temperature range, and which impacts the crop availability. Sorry, it's just a slip of tongue. It defines the cropping pattern. The rainfall, the same. The rainfall in the northeast, the highest rainfall zone, and the rainfall in the west, which is Rajasthan. Okay. In the same way, the humidity, the frost of North India, the wind. due to cyclone in the southwest or the southeastern zone, which is Bay of Bengal. Okay, the next is topography. So how topography affects the slope? The slope affects the topography. How? We cannot cultivate rice directly on the slope. We have to use terrace farming. We have to create the contours which holds the water and reduces the soil erosion down the slope. Okay, then valleys, then plains determines the farming system. Then soil. How? Soil: sandy soil, clay soil, loamy soil, and nutrient availability. So example, for example, black soil which holds water, and the sandy soil where water drainage is more, it loses water quickly. So this soil is better for rice, cotton, due to high moisture availability for long period of time. So in sandy region, for example, bajra millets can be grown, which is low water intensive crop. LIC, low water intensive crop, bajra or any other millets. Okay, so soil: sandy soil, clay soil, loamy soil. Clay is water होल्डिंग सॉइल. एग्जाम्पल ब्लैक सॉइल, हमें पता है सैंडी सॉइल वाटर ड्रेनेज हाई रहता है इस सॉइल में. और न्यूट्रिएंट अवेलेबिलिटी. सो न्यूट्रिएंट NPK, these are the major nutrients, and remaining micronutrients determines the farming system. Water: if irrigation source is available, we can crop or we can sow crop yearly for whole year. Okay, if rainfall dependent, we can grow for only one season due to less water availability. If we have source of rivers, it determines or it changes the farming system. In the region of Gangetic Plain, due to Ganga River and its tributaries, the ability of water is annual. So nearby areas can grow crops whole year. So how economic factor determines the farming system? So due to the market demand, availability of the urban market, जैसे example floriculture, if we want to choose rose or marigold as our crop, so we need the market access nearby. So urban market or the market access is the major determinant of the farming system. Export facilities are the must. So Bharti initiative of India, launched on 2nd September 2025, focuses on exports, investing in startups. I have posted the video, do check. Input cost also determines economic. It's also economic factor which determines farming system. How? The availability of fertilizer, pesticide, and availability of labor, which is the major concern. Due to less labor, it affects the or delays harvesting period, which reduces the overall cost. The infra, the availability of irrigation, transport, storage, and power supply. So availability of storage means cold warehouse, cold storage. is the major factor which determines the farming system. Credit means access of money, loan, subsidies, income. Next, in specific, we can tell about infra, such as social infra and institutional infra. So, in social infra, educational and training hub like universities, KVKs plays an important role in farmers' knowledge. The next, healthcare unit for cattle and poultry, such as veterinary clinics and a rural hospital for self farmers. So next, skill development through, for example, this is the program or this is the institution through Maharashtra Center for Entrepreneurship Development. Here the entrepreneurs are made, farmer are made entrepreneurs. Here the skill is developed. Or any other initiative like Skill India Mission. Then institutional infra refers to credit and financing institutions such as bank and cooperatives rather than farmers opting through money lenders, which in return gets the farmer into the debt trap if he not repays the money. Then policy and support through MSP, minimum support price, also determines the फार्मिंग सिस्टम. एग्जाम्पल दे सकते हैं रीजन ऑफ पंजाब ड्यू टू MSP in rice and wheat. The region grows maximum of the crop rice and wheat, and in the South India the regime of MSP is not that much, so the farmer do not depend on growing specific MSP crops. The next institution is research and extension. Research and extension plays the major role. The agencies such as ICAR, Indian Council of Agriculture Research, and IARI, Indian Agriculture Research Institution. Okay, these institutions plays a major role in developing new varieties which are deterrent to climate change and which are adaptable in the specific region. The next is crop insurance. Crop insurance scheme such as Pradhan Mantri Fasal Bima Yojana plays a greater role in crop selection or the farming system in short. So let us go forward with the another concept of farming such as farming concepts such as subsistence farming. Subsistence means just focus on self consumption. Small land holding means its primary aim for household consumption. Okay, using traditional knowledge and indigenous traditional knowledge practices, is it's just to sustain life. The farmer having small land holding. So next, intensive farming means using more capital, more input on the small land to produce maximum output. So extensive farming is large area but minimal inputs. Okay. Then irrigated farming, here we can see use of various irrigation practices, drip, sprinkler and other. Plantation agriculture, it's type of commercial farming which has single cash crop. Example, sugar cane is grown as it is a cash crop, or any tobacco grown for commercial purpose or export oriented purpose or export oriented market. It's plantation agriculture. Sedentary or permanent farming, doing cropping on the same piece of land for year after year. Shifting, here we can see shifting agriculture image. So the forest, the standing forest is cut down, the land is made clear for agriculture purpose. It is also called slash and burn agriculture, or in other areas jhum cultivation, or in other regions such as Indonesia, Thailand, ladang ladang. Okay, so cutting down the forest, making the land clear for agriculture. Crop are grown for 2 to 3 years, and then again the land is left over, the farmer shift to the next piece of land, then again deforestation, the land is clear, and then again after 2 to 3 year cropping, the farmer shift. Here is the shifting from one land to the another land, so it's called shifting agriculture. Then टेरेस फार्मिंग, ये टेरेस पर नहीं होती, ये जो हिली रीजन्स है जैसे कि मैक्सिमम नॉर्थ ईस्ट, आसाम, हिमाचल, जो हिली रीजन्स where the land is cut into the series. देखो series, it is cut into the series, step like flat surface which reduces the slope and reduces the soil erosion, where cultivation is done. This terrace holds large amount of water, prevents runoff. Runoff means the flowing water down the slope, and make the slope possible for cultivation. Majorly done in hilly areas. So the next is mixed farming. We know the mixed farming. In the previous slide we have done farming system, crops plus livestock. Okay, the organic farming. Organic farming means use of organic bio fertilizer, pesticide. It is the sustainable agriculture system, or the natural process without using synthetic or chemical fertilizers or pesticides. So various methods of organic farming, so which we can name: using biofertilizer first, crop rotation or mixed cropping. We can give here example of legume plus cereal. Cereal exhaust, legume retains the nutrient. Then organic weed control method such as mulching, hand weeding. Then using biofertilizer एग्जाम्पल दे सकते हैं हम ब्लू ग्रीन एल्गे, जो एल्गे है we can use in rice field. It fixes nitrogen. Then commercial cropping, it's export oriented cropping or export oriented market cropping. Contingency cropping. Contingency cropping है farmers refers to preparedness and adaptive strategies in a situation, in a unexpected situation. अगर ड्रॉट आता है ड्यू टू मॉनसून डिले, it's the unexpected situation for the farmer. The farmer plants the cropping system using millet, which is less water intensive, as we know. So contingency farming is the farming refers to preparedness and adaptive strategies for the farmer to deal with unexpected situations such as drought, flood, pest and disease attack, climate change or climate variability. Okay, it reduces the climate risk, act as a climate resilient, and helps in risk management. Growing of crop as the backup. Precision farming using of techs, AI, drones like this in farming. Aqua and hydroponics. Hydroponics क्या है? Just a second. So growing of crops without soil or soilless method of crop growing, where crops are cultivated in the nutrient rich medium or the inert medium, which balances the supply of oxygen, minerals, or nutrients or water, whichever is required to the crops. Okay, this is the future. Due to the recent climate change or soil fertility degradation, as human is greedy, सस्टेनेबिलिटी कम हो रही है हमारी, इसलिए फूड प्रोडक्शन भी कम हो रहा है, क्योंकि सॉइल कैपेबल नहीं है फूड प्रोडक्शन के लिए. सो हाइड्रोपोनिक्स इज द फ्यूचर एंड वी कैन इंटीग्रेट AI ऑटोमेटिक हम कर सकते हैं. वी कैन सेट टाइमर और एनी अदर यूज ऑफ AI फॉर प्रॉपर न्यूट्रिएंट application. So here is the end. So thank you for watching, and we appreciate your patience for the video, and do mention your queries in the comment section and follow us on Instagram.